Hi there, Glenn Doherty here, advisor for Jigsaw Private Wealth. Just thought I'd put through a quick video. I'd had a meeting just recently actually with a client of mine, and it's really around transitions. A lot of people think as a financial planner or an advisor, we sit there and we talk to our clients about investments all day long. It only forms a small part of it. But in relation to this client, I think it's a very good example of one of the things that we do help clients with, and that's transitioning through different stages of life. In this case, my client of mine's been with us for a few years now. We've put in some plans for, he was about 60 when he came on board, 63 now, I believe. And he wanted to retire. We sat down with him, we set out a whole plan of actually what he wanted to do. He's married, his wife had been a stay-at-home mum looking after the kids, and he'd been the main breadwinner. But they were at a position where at that point in time they couldn't retire. They didn't have enough, so we put together a plan for them to get from where they were, which is not knowing, to when they could, or he could retire quite comfortably and live the lifestyle that they both wanted to live and not have to worry about money. But recently there's been a few things going on in their lives. There's been a work situation where the business that he's involved with is closing down, and also recently had some health issues, which obviously, through our discussions in this meeting, talking about getting some real perspective on life and changing his views about things that he wanted to do. Combine that with obviously the business closing down, so he's not going to have a job shortly. But that part of it wasn't really an issue because we'd talked about that for some time and knew this was coming, and really talked about, well, what's going to happen post that. Now, he's the sort of person that doesn't want to really sit still and would want to keep fairly active. So retirement for him right now is not quite right, even though they can't quite afford what they want to do, but his view is he'll continue working. So that will happen for him. He's already got an opportunity he's looking at post-work. But I think the realisation for them is some of the planning that we've done, we're in a position to really sit down with them and say, well, look, here's what's possible, here's what's not. And it will come down to another transition when he does find that job or that next step for him, that we'll sit down again and review exactly where they sit, where they're heading, and what he needs to do at that point in time to get them to a place where he can comfortably finish work if he wants to. Not sure whether he will, because he likes keeping fairly active and wants to be involved. But one of the key things that came out of this conversation recently is obviously the illness that he's just had recently. Really reflected on what was important to him, and it seems like now that some of those plans that they had for when he was going to retire in quite a number of years, most of it in 5 years' time, it looks as though now they're going to actually bring that forward. So a bit of travel was one thing that they want to do a bit more of, which they were going to leave till further down the track. So I guess the point of this quick video is just to say, look, a lot of the stuff that we do is transitioning people from one point in their life to another and planning for that a long way out, and then helping them with giving them the information to make the right decisions that are right for them. The other thing also is really planning early. A lot of people leave planning way too late. And in this case here, where we've got a client in early 60s, didn't really do a lot of planning in their 40s in relation to setting themselves up. They started quite late. But had they started small steps in their 40s, then we might be in a position right now where we could sit there and go, you can actually retire now without any problems. So this health issue that sort of has brought things forward a little bit more for him in relation to what they want to do might not be an issue for him if they'd done planning a lot further on. So I guess two things just wanted to pass on is, one, what we do is a lot of transitional work in relation to getting them from point A to point B to C to D to E to make sure they transition smoothly. And the other thing is also really planning early is going to get you good outcomes later on, because you never know what's going to happen. And quite often we come across clients who have had some illnesses later on in life and then all of a sudden realise that perhaps they should have done a little bit more early on to get them in a position where if something like this happens, which is unexpected, then they have the ability to make the right decisions. Anyway, I hope that's been useful. Just wanted to share some insights from a recent client meeting, just to give you, some inside view on what actually goes on in these meetings if you've never ever seen an advisor. Hope that's been useful. Goodbye for now.